Chag Sameach, Happy New Year. No, not that New Year. No, not that other New Year. There's another New Year. Did you know that? And it's called Tu B'Shvat. I think it is worthy of our attention, especially as Messianic believers here. And Tu B'Shvat means the 15th day of the month of Shvat. It's right in the midwinter, which is where we are right now each year. And it has its origins in the Torah, where it's in regard to the tithing of the produce from trees. And according to Leviticus 27:30, a tithe of everything from the land, whether grain from the soil or fruit from the trees, belongs to Adonai. It is holy to the Lord. And so there's another commandment in the Torah that said that this particular tithing requirement went into effect on the 4th year of a tree's lifespan. But it didn't specify when that 4th year would begin. So the cutoff date then was debated between Shammai and Hillel, the two rabbis before the time of Yeshua, and the consensus was that it would be on the 15th day of the month. So that's where the tu comes in, means 15 in Hebrew. And the idea is that that's when the rainy season basically is over in the land of Israel, and then the trees, the sap begins to flow in the trees, and then they start their new growing cycle. And so basically what this is about is it's really not that different than what happens 3 months later on our calendar on April 15th, when you have to tithe to our government based on the cycle of your produce for the previous year, which ends for us on December 31st. But it's that basic kind of a principle. So this holiday, that's what it was in biblical times. Over time, it has evolved a bit because, after all, if you're Jewish, you're going to find a way to celebrate, right? It's part of the culture. And so in the Middle Ages, Jews began commemorating this date with a Seder that was based on the model of the Passover Seder. And it involves eating and drinking from the produce of the land. So that means that they came up with 4 different types of wine or juice of different colors or darkness, symbolic of the seasons of the year. And then you've got the biblical grains and of barley and wheat and fruits that are hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. So that's like almonds and walnuts and pomegranates. And soft on the outside, but hard on the inside, like olives and dates and peaches and apricots and cherries. And then both soft on the inside and out. So that would be raisins and grapes and figs and blueberries and apples. And so that became a tradition that became part of the Jewish cycle of commemorations during the year. But then in the late 19th century, when the first Jewish pioneers began returning to the land of Israel, they reimagined Tu B'Shvat as a day of national reforestation. Because we know that the Romans especially had completely devastated all the forests of Israel, and that remained that way then for nearly 2,000 years like that. And so when the first Jews began returning, the first Zionist Jews, they began planting trees. And so it became known then as the New Year for Trees. And that's continued now into modern times. And so on this date, school children in Israel will be going out, planting trees all over the place. And the holiday is kind of continued on this same path where it has become now what they call Jewish Earth Day. So now it's got taken on more ecological themes and so on. But as I think about this, for Messianic believers, what it does is it presents an opportunity to connect to the original meaning of the day, which is in regard to dedicating the first tenth of the crop to Adonai. So it's like a first fruits kind of a concept. And I think that that is a very worthy thing for us to acknowledge, that we dedicate the first portion of everything that God provides to us back to Him for His purposes, which in biblical times was for the furtherance of the ministry at the temple. But it also can be more of a generic kind of a thing, where it's just another good time to have a reminder to be thankful for all of God's provisions in our lives. But I want to tell you what we're doing here today is going to be a part of that theme. And so during our oneg time, our refreshment time after the service, we've got all these foods that I've been talking about here. And for the kids today, it's going to be that same kind of a theme. So guess what? You're going to be planting a tree. Well, it's not really kind of a full tree, but it is an olive bush, because we've got big olive trees out here, but we want to have something a little lower profile. And so they're going to be planting an olive bush right outside the children's room over here, and then they've got some other craft activities they'll be doing as well. So I just wanted you to know about that and how we can still make meaningful connections to biblical practices in this way without going over the rails, so to speak, into non-biblical concepts. So that's what we're doing here today. Oh,